Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. We'll soon be joined by co-host Garrett Punchy Dill. He's just having a bit of technical issues, but he'll be joining us momentarily. Well, let's give a rundown of the matches that took place over the weekend, and you'll see them scrolling down the bottom. In the Premier Division, it was Wolves 0, Young Man Social Club 2, Paget Lions 1, Devonshire Cougars 4, St. George's Colts 1, North Village Rams 3, Devonshire Colts 0, Dandytown Hornets 1, PHC Zebras 1, Hamilton Parish 0. In the first division, it was the Somerset Trojans 2, St. David's 1, Crossroads 4, Boulevard Blazers 0, Somerset Eagles 4, and Vasco 4. Those were the results from this past weekend. Punchy, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I still have problems with this thing.
Okay, we'll go with it how it is.
Yeah.
Just give a rundown of the scores. I'll go with the standings. Currently in the Premier Division, the league leaders are the defending champions, PAC Zebras, with 9 points. Devonshire Colts have 6 points. Dandytown Hornets also have 6 points, as well as Young Man Social Club. North Village Rams have 4. Devonshire Cougars have 4. St. George's Colts North Village Rams have 6. Devonshire Cougars and St. George's Colts both have 4. Paget Lions have 3. Hamilton Parish and Wolves are yet to get off the mark. In First Division, the Somerset Trojans and St. David's both have 6 points. Robin Hood and Boulevard, as well as Crossroads, all have 3 points. Somerset Eagles and Vasco both have a point each. And Southampton Rangers are yet to get off the mark. It must be noted that Robin Hood and Crossroads, with their 3 points, have only played 1 game each, and the Somerset Trojans have played 2 games, while St. David's have played 3. We're going to see if Punchy has rejoined us.
Yeah, I have. I just still having problems with my my camera.
Don't worry about it. We'll just go how it is right now.
Okay.
Let me just quickly. We'll jump right into this weekend's games. On Friday night, a clash of 2 teams who, I guess at the beginning of the season, many would have said would have been relegation teams. Despite what Social Club was able to do last season, a lot of people looked at them and said they will be in a battle for relegation. They were defeated 2 weeks ago by St. George's Colts at Police Field, and Wolves were coming off of that heavy defeat from PHC, and Social Club jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead and never looked back and would defeat Wolves 2-0. Wolves, Punchy, we talked about them last season and what they would need once they got promoted, and it seems as if nothing has worked for them yet.
No, you're right, Earl. Exactly. I always said, last year, the teams that are promoted, especially Wolves, with the amount of players that they have, they're still, it's a young. Also, there's a new coach, young coach, who's starting out with them, and they've got some problems already. Look at the amount of goals they've conceded. And I watched them again. I repeat, when I watched them against PAC that night, a couple of weeks going back, and I think it was the Dudley game. Yeah. Uh-huh. I thought there was some things that were missing about the finishing up. The 2 strikers, but they will also look very suspect at the back. They have, I think, it's a lack of quality in that team. And when you start losing to. When you start conceding the amount of goals they've conceded already, it's very obvious that they have a real problem on their hands. How do you fix it? What do you do to fix that? It's going to be different. Remember, it's a well-supported club. It's a
It's a big
community club,
community
but
club. Yeah, it's a big
it's a
community.
community club. But they're gonna. I just think that who do you turn to when things are not going well on the field?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much coach on the field, and having
Yeah.
a young coach, the young man that's coaching them now, the identity of the team, and conceding the amount of goals that they've had, they're in a trouble already, I believe, Earl.
Yeah, 3 games, 17 goals against, and only 3 goals scored. That's worrying time. Their tactics are going to have to change some way, shape, or form to plug up the holes that are being given, week in and week out to these teams. When you give up 12 goals in one game, and then turn around and you score twice, but you then turn around and give up 2 goals and you don't score at all, it's making your season that much more difficult. Ironically, Wolves are bottom of the Premier Division in Bermuda, and Wolves are bottom of the Premier Division in England. So, and they're leaking goals as well. So it's
It's
one of,
funny, yeah. But again, I watched them, and I again, for Wolves, it's got to be a complete turnaround, like right away. They have to
yeah,
stop. They have to work hard. They have to stop letting those goals in. It'll be interesting who they got next week, also.
yeah.
But their problem is going to be their problem is definitely it's quality.
Mhm.
It's really quality and it's all right. You can, like I said, like last year when they were playing in that division in the first division, you expect to be teams like the Boulevard or the Sunset Eagles or
Mhm.
Vesco. This is a whole big step up for them now, and
Yeah,
I think, like I said, they have the numbers, but do they have the quality?
yeah. And it's going to be one of those things that they collectively they're going to have to sort out.
Yes,
They're
they will
really
have to sort that out, Earl. Yeah,
themselves. Um, and hopefully they can. Like you said, they have to turn to someone. Someone's going to have to step up and be a leader for them,
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that happens soon. I mean, nothing like getting a draw or a victory. No, a draw for them will be a victory, and it will be a morale booster. Right now, I think spirits are low. They're all looking at each other to see who's going to be that one person to stand out. So eventually,
Yeah.
somebody's going to have to do something in their script. Now, let's turn our attention to the Young Man Social Club because they've started the season, albeit, you look at them, they've got 2 wins under the belt and only 1 defeat, and that defeat came to St. George's. But, they're scored 6 goals, mind you. One player
Uh-huh.
has 5, and another player has 1. So, when we start talking about they're going to need other people contributing if they want to stay on a a ride to stay up. They're going to
Yeah.
need other people to start scoring goals.
Well, they've had some promising results. They beat North Village, right? They look at them. They beat North Village 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Wolves 2-0. And I
Yeah.
think so. They're scoring goals. The capable scoring goals. The dust hasn't
Mm-hmm.
settled yet. That's how I say that. And I
Right.
think with Wolves having the problems that they have, Social Club with the team still promising, they have a good promising start. And so, what are they doing right? Probably hard work. That's definitely it. The Social Club, the way
Mm-hmm.
they work hard, and they probably play for one another. And it's still early.
Yes.
And you know, let's say next week, I'll be interested to see who Social Club play next week.
Right.
But it's still early in the season, and as I said, these teams that are promoted, those early points are so important.
Yes.
Yeah,
Much so.
for
And
your
then,
survival, definitely.
yeah. Yeah. Let's turn our attention to yesterday down at Wellington Oval, where North Village got the better of St. George's Colts 3-1. North Village
Yeah.
at one point were leading 3-0. St. George's scored probably the last kick of the game, but must be a morale booster for North Village. Traveling to St. George's, they actually beat St. George's in St. George's last season, but lost to them at Bernard Park. And then, of course, we remember the final game of last season where St. George's defeated North Village at the National Sports Center in the FA Cup final. But here we are back, new season, new surroundings for St. George's, meaning new coaching staff, some changes made, and player personnel. Jonte switched teams. They still have some adjusting to do in St. George's.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do, Earl. I've watched them. I've watched them twice. I saw them play against Cougars that night. I think they drew 1-1, or a couple of weeks ago they drew 1-1. They look like with the young coach that they got, to run their basketball. You could see their intent trying to play football. The possession game was very good, but in what areas? And I didn't realize that the young man Tucker was away in Burnley. He was playing in midfield yesterday. They have some pretty good players, but what they do lack is I think they have a good out and out striker. And also, let's look at what I saw yesterday. They were able to contain Blaze Hall, which is very important, and he got injured early, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of they double teamed him a lot, made him come inside, play the ball back into the midfield. So when against in the final, you'll see he was going on the outside and getting behind defenses, and very easy in the final.
Yes.
But I think Norfolk done the homework really well in that department. Really, St. George's again with Janai Tucker. I think I said that's his name, Janai.
Nijai.
I'm sorry, Nijai. Along with the other whole guy, they look good. They keep possession. They look structured, but there's still a lot to do with that team. I don't think they're really good at the back. I don't think they're very strong at the back. Not at all. That score could have been 6-2 yesterday again. Could have been 6-2. But what they do have is, you're expecting St. George's. Okay, that was St. George's. I would look at it and say, well, who would they beat? And they will definitely be contenders. But yesterday was definitely a wake up call for them also. It's a wake up call for them. I'm a new coach, a young coach, and don't forget, does he get the respect from those guys?
Right.
Remember his their age or younger. Yeah. So it's going to be an adjustment. Yeah. It's going to be an adjustment.
Yeah. And you look at a team like North Village, who last season was scoring freely. They picked up 2 wins this year, but they've only scored 5 goals and conceded 4. 3 of those goals were against Young Men's Social Club. But you remember, they were leading the league for quite some time, but this year looks like a bit of a struggle in being consistent in finding that net. And the 3 goals they got yesterday would have helped them to that 5 goals, and then they still conceded. So still worrying times for North Village. They would have been able to show a bit of quality on a big pitch such as Wellington Oval, and they came away with what they needed, the 3 points.
I think Well, there's also my nephew. There's Patches Kelvin Deal Jr., who's I think he's doing a wonderful job thus far. When they beat Dendytown, you see them playing with a lot more courage, I do believe. Yeah. The other thing that's most important is that I still believe that was an off day. I don't know, the social club game, that must have been, for us, for North Village, that was like, wow, And so they're turning it around slowly but surely. And then you got Jonte. And then Jonte and Jonte, the connection between Jonte and Jai is really flourishing. It's just starting. Yeah. But they have a real, we're talking about Jai Pitt that scored a wonderful goal yesterday also, a free kick. But he's scoring for the national team also. Yeah. But that connection and he plays over Jonte. Jonte is the main focus. Right. And then we have And the other thing about it is that connection is working. And so the other thing was happening in North Village is I saw they were very, very unhappy about conceding that goal in the last 10 seconds. Yeah. But basically they looked in control. Defensively, they look a lot better this year. I think they do. They look a lot better this year. The midfield is being shored up. Trey Ming and the young man that got picked for the national team. But I think we look, Norfolk look a lot better defensively. I think in the games they're gonna get better. They will get better. They will get better. Jonte still a little bit don't look like he's fully fit yet.
Right.
But Jai Pitt helps out a lot. And then we got a lot of young legs too, a lot of young guys. Some young guy, my cousin. He adds another dimension to the team with the loss of the young man, Swan, who's away in school.
Yes, yeah.
But he's a wider player. He's not a midfield player, but he's still, his work rate is good. He can beat you one-on-one. He's very good at one-on-ones. But I just think that I think the settled on. There's very I just like what I've seen the last 2 games.
Right.
The turnaround for North Village.
Yes. Well, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll start talking about that second Premier Division match between Paget and Devonshire Cougars that took place at Southampton Oval yesterday. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? For generations, John Barrett & Sons has been a part of our family's table, and now they're bringing something new for yours. Discover Wonder Juice at Lindo's, a refreshing organic burst of flavor delivered with the same care Barrett's has given Bermuda for over 150 years. Cold pressed, pure, and full of nutrients, just like the fresh fruit juices we grew up loving. From Wonder Melon to Wonder Beet, it's that familiar Barrett's touch, now with a wholesome twist. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, it's silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, Punchy up at Southampton Oval yesterday. Devonshire Cougars defeated the Paget Lions 4-1. Devonshire Cougars jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Paget scored to make it 2-1 in the 60th minute. And then 2 late goals from Devonshire Cougars earned them the 3 points, putting them on 6 points for the season. 4 points for the season with 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. They've only scored 6 goals but given up 5, and Paget have picked up 1 win but 2 defeats. Only have 3 points, 7 goals scored, 9 goals against. What does Antoine have to do up at Paget to show up this young team? I mean, they have 1 season under their belt in the Premier Division. They've really done well, and they've been looking to do well again this season, but starting slow.
That's for me. That'd be a worrying sign for Paget. So you look at who will Paget likely beat. They lost to Cougars, so the top teams are talking about Paget going to beat North Village. So where are they going to get the points from? I think they should be getting points from Hamilton Parish, Wolves, Social Club. I think they really should be looking at those. But Antoine's going to have to find a way, consistency now that they're up in the second year. These are the kind of games that you have to be, to be beaten 4-1 against Cougars at home. That's a cause for concern. So how do you stabilize the team? You know they got players there. You know that.
Yes.
But what is your plan against teams like Cougars or a team like North Village? Do you sit back and defend and counterattack? And I just think that there's still, in some parts of them at the back, that's where they have the problem. Also, like Wolves, they have firepower up front,
right?
And in the midfield, are not bad, but at the back, no. They're still they need quality at the back, and especially down the middle. They're slow down the middle. So my point is what does Antoine do now? Is it's your second year, you have to figure this out. I thought against Cougars a draw, or maybe just a 1-0 win, even come up with a draw. That's what I would be looking at, Antoine. That's but that 4 goals, that's not a very good result for Paget. That's not a good sign. No.
But on the other side, Cougars picked up 3 big points, and without Tamiko Cuttington, they're able to get multiple goals from several players. So for Kwame, it's a good sign that others are pitching in to get on the score sheet, and that has to be some consistency right there for them. And looking forward for them, they would have to be in a good position.
Yeah, I think that was probably a very happy result for him. Maybe, when you listen to Kwame speak about, he could have been, even if it was 4, he's very, he has his standards. I always thought, I keep saying that one of those 2 hats, being president and a coach, there's going to be some difficult times for Cougars. But, getting over today or yesterday, winning that game was very important. And those 3 points keeps them, 4th or 5th, right behind North Village.
Yeah.
So, what's going to happen is that these 2 teams will play against each other. So you start I keep looking at the fact that who are the 4 stronger teams that we can count on that's going to, by the time we get to December, who will be up top there? Who will be the first leaders? Because PHC, we ain't going to talk about them yet, but they're going to be there. Right. My thing is that who will be the next 3 for that? Again, Cougars definitely will be in that. I think they will be in that mix. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. And then let's turn our attention to today's matches in the Premier Division. Obviously, at Police Field, the Dendytown Hornets ended Devonshire Colts' undefeated league run that had gone through 2 seasons. With a 1-0 win, goals scored in the first half early in the match, and it was enough for Dendytown to pull themselves, pick up their second win of the season, move on to 6 points. They've scored 5 goals, conceded 2, and with Devonshire Colts, they're also on 6 points because this is the first loss. They scored 7 goals. They didn't score any today, conceded 3 for their 6 points. So, for Devonshire Colts, now would be character building. They haven't been on the wrong end of a result in the league for 2 seasons. And now it's, how do they bounce back? What is the reaction?
Yeah, good question. Good question. I watched part of the game. I watched about 65 minutes of the game. And first of all, what was most disappointing for me was the field. Earl, that pitch up there it's terrible to try to play good football on that pitch. I don't know if it's you don't got to speak about it because players suffer. You want to see a good game, but the quality of the pitch was bad. But okay, barring that, I thought Colts had the chances, not too many, right? But again, Dennyton too. It was like that game was evenly balanced. That Dennyton scored it was well taken goal,
Right.
but you could still see Colts had their chances.
Yes.
I understand what Ray's trying to do. His footballing beliefs are there. You can see parts of the damage coach, but you can still see weaknesses also.
Mm.
But I see, let's say, for instance, that damage coach is going to. I see they're going to be up the top. Come December, with what I saw today, there's talent. Yes. How can they start building on what they have? Today wasn't a bad result, considering, against who they were playing against.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the coach, Ray Jones, will probably be looking at, probably the finishing, the set pieces, and the finishing will be my cause for concern in games like this. Sir, we should have gotten a point.
Right.
I don't see them. When we would pick them against Devonshire Colts against the Patriots or against Village, which you always that's a derby.
Mm-hmm.
You could bet that there's going to be, I see Devonshire Colts being okay this year for sure.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. And then the final Premier Division match took place at PHC Stadium, where on a day where both clubs recognized the late Leroy Lewis, who was a former president and coach of the PHC Zebras. He had a son playing for Hamilton Parish. What an emotional day for those, when both sides of the fence and football was played, on a day where these two teams would have been looking back at what this man has contributed to the game of football for in retrospect for both clubs.
Yeah, that's right. For both clubs, exactly. What a magnificent person. The stuff that he's achieved playing and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very glad, I'm really sad of his loss, really. My condolences to his family.
Mm-hmm.
And but about the game also, that it looks like Hamilton Parish looked like, even though the score was 1-0.
Yeah.
So Parish looked like to go up there and lose to PHC, who are, as we all talk about, the team to beat this year. That's not a bad result.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad result. But that doesn't help in terms of where they are in the league.
Yeah.
So Parish has got some work to do. Really got some work to do. Sergio, again, I hope the numbers increase for Hamilton Parish, because that's what I've heard. So they don't have a whole lot to pick from.
Yeah.
So that's what will be Parish dilemma thus far.
One thing for them is definitely the mindset. As we know in Bermuda, when things are not going your way, I mean, to lose 1-0 to PHC would be, I guess, in a way, somewhat of a, okay, we only lost 1-0 to the champion. So if we play like this or play just a little bit better, we can actually beat somebody this season, because you struggled all season. So you got to be able to beat somebody in the league, because they got a semifinal Dudley Eve match coming up.
Uh-huh.
So and they're saying they had a bench today, obviously getting ready for that semifinal. And if they can, if Hamilton Parish could somehow, some way get into the final, I think that will be a morale booster and a kick to their season. Now, if they don't win the semifinal to get into the WWE final, Sergio has a lot of work to do on the mindset of the players he has, because he's now got to convince them to, okay, get over that hurdle, and now let's try to save our hides in the Premier Division.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Huh? That's what we talk about, the mindset of Bermuda players. A loss, you lose 1-0 to one of the top teams that are in this country, but you've lost other games too. But now, what do you do now? How do you mobilize these guys and make them feel, look, we can get past this, but we lost 1-0. But I said, that victory is still a morale booster.
Yes.
And they're not good players. They're not a bad team. They're not a bad team. They're not going to be, I don't see them having a relegation problem. I just think once they get a few more results, positive results on the belt, they'll be okay. Yeah. I do. And you're right about the morale booster for this cup game. I think it's a huge morale booster that they get into the final.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually win something. Yeah, and actually get into the final and win something. It will be a huge morale booster.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be the kickstart to the league season. Something that they can really, really like build on. And for a team like PHC, obviously they'll be looking at, okay, we got over this 1-0. We didn't have our way like we did with Wolves, scoring 12 goals in their last league outing. So the coaches got to play a few mind games with them as well. I mean, they might be winning, and leading the league, but he has to give them challenges that's going to keep them focused game by game. Because as you would probably even indicate, look at the game between Social Club and North Village. I'm pretty sure the North Village guys would have been going to rack that night saying, "Oh, this is going to be easy 3 points."
Yeah.
But Social Club showed up and Social Club done the business. So sometimes if you're overconfident and you warm up like that, you stroll in like that, it's hard once that rot sets in to overcome it. So, PHC were able to overcome, not playing as well as they wanted to today. Obviously, Parrish came with a plan. It didn't quite work out today, but now it's also mind games for the defending champions to keep going.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, you do, like I said, probably an off day for them. Not, but from what I see, what was sent to us, Hamilton Parish played a pretty good game. They had the chances.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, in a league like we have in Bermuda, there's going to be one of those days where the team doesn't play well, but the result is important. And they got a result today. PHC got a result, and you could bet that on any given day, they will rise to the challenge. I don't see that being a setback for them. Just, they won the game, and that's a plus. You have been in a situation where you didn't play well, you're on top of the league, you're expected to win the game comfortable, but you only come up with one goal. So, I would think that, they're PHC is not, this is an off day, but I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they'll be okay.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take our second commercial break, and when we come back, it's First Division time. We'll be right back.
Over the pink sands, beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day, for over 135 years, it's been clear. Digital is proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
For generations, John Barrett & Sons has been a part of our family's table, and now they're bringing something new for yours. Discover Wonder Juice at Lindo's, a refreshing organic burst of flavor delivered with the same care Barrett's has given Bermuda for over 150 years. Cold pressed, pure, and full of nutrients, just like the fresh fruit juices we grew up loving. From Wonder Melon to Wonder Beet, it's that familiar Barrett's touch, now with a wholesome twist. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, up at the Somerset Cricket Club yesterday, it was the Somerset Trojans coming from behind to defeat St. David's 2-1. St. David's took the lead in the first half, took that lead to the half, and the Somerset Trojans would then score midway through the second half, and then probably the last kick of the game would, in stoppage time, would get the winner to remain undefeated. They've played 2 games and won both their games. St. David's first loss of the season. Somerset were successful in inflicting that first loss for St. David's. But, St. David's, you look at them on a Saturday, they travel the length of the island. Not sure if they had, everybody available to them, but you look at that and you say, okay, we see what our tests are, because Somerset's going to be a test. If they have any ambitions of being in that promotion hunt for the rest of the season, then they're going to have to look at what they're able to do with a Somerset Trojans team and, try to reverse that scoreline for the second time they play them in the league.
That's a whoa. You never expected that score. I never expected that score. I thought some would run away with that. Not easy, but they will win that match. Right. But that tells you about St. David's. Really surprising, isn't it? Again, what we talk about with what they're trying to achieve, I would like to know if Mr. Bean played. That would be good to know. But that's a good result for St. David's. That's a very good result. And as we talked before, Somerset are being contenders for promotion. We know that for sure. Mm-hmm. So that they can go back to St. David's smiling about that, and that's a very good result for St. David's. Maybe they're going to push. From like I said, what I've been saying about them, they were talking about always about development at St. David's. So that's a good result for St. David's. Right. But I see Somerset's training really hard, and I've heard some stories about they train early in the morning sometimes. But that's I wish, as we know, Somerset's going to. I think Somerset's going to win the league. This league hands down. I really do. Other than Crossroads, but being someone that's going to be, we have to talk about them also later. But Somerset. I think most of the guys have stayed there. They've got a few additions. So, and they're young too. A lot of the players are young too. So, that's a good result. But getting back to St. David's, so that's a very good result for St. David's.
Yeah, but you may mention Somerset have a young team, a young, experienced team, because they were still young, playing in the Premier Division last 2 seasons. They got relegated last season, still having a bunch of the young men that were with them over the last few years. So they're going to have that experience down in the first division, and as long as they stay within their confines of taking care of the business that's in front of them and not getting too far ahead of themselves, I think they're going to be a one to talk about for the season in the promotion battle. Yeah,
that's for sure. For sure. I'm very sure about that. They've got experience. There's young boys playing last year up in the first division. So, they've got experience in games like this, and playing at home. That's a real boost for Somerset. Like I said, I just see them winning the league hands down. I really do.
Yeah. And then today, up at the White Hill Field, a game where it took turns and twists, and it was Somerset Eagles 4, Vasco 4. At one point in time, Vasco were leading 3-0, and then there was a time in the match that Somerset Eagles were leading 4-3, and Vasco would get a penalty with 5 minutes to go to level the match at 4-4. Two teams at the wrong end of the table, getting their first points of the season, but conceding 4 goals, and especially for a team like Vasco, having to be up 3-0. They did have a man sent off early in like 10 minutes to the second half, making it a little difficult. But you're up 3-0. You've got to adjust. They did come away with a point.
Yeah.
And Somerset Eagles would be kicking themselves only because they came back from 3-0 down to eventually lead the match and then give up the goal, with 5 minutes to go. And a man advantage, it will feel like a big loss for them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it would definitely feel like a big loss for them. Definitely. That's again Somerset Eagles. Again, what they wanted to achieve. But that result, I would thought that Somerset Eagles would have won that game. But I haven't seen Vesco play, so that's also, I haven't seen Vesco play, but it's a good result for Vesco also. And don't forget, Vesco is also talking about, just like St. David's, rebuilding the program.
Yes.
Slowly but surely, when they get some more players will come to Vesco. But they're looking at just competing and rebuilding the program. So that's pretty a tiring result for them. Somerset Eagles, on the other hand, the Hearn, Jomar, Jomar, that result probably was disappointing for him, really.
Right.
To be that far down, to be down 3-0. So it's probably something that, like I said, Jomar, what's he got to work with up Somerset Eagles? What type of talent does he have up there? I think Somerset Eagles, I don't see them being promoted this year. I don't think so, Earl. Vesco, again, like St. David's, are rebuilding. So just getting a positive result like that is probably a morale booster for the club.
Yeah. And then the final first division match, one, we will keep an eye on because Crossroads playing, we talked about them in the FA Cup last week, scoring all those goals. They would turn around and then defeat a Boulevard outfit 4-0 at Lords. When you start talking about the fortunes they had last season with Gumbo as the coach, now they have their other coach back, Vahid, and they're scoring goals again. It looks like they're having fun playing football again. Mind you, they are in the first division. They have quality guys who were in the Premier Division. They're now playing in the first division, and they're steamrolling their way. It looks like they're about to steamroll their way through a big convincing 4-0 win over Boulevard Blazers at home. To get their first 3 points in their first league game of the season. But they still have to look at what they can do up against a team like Somerset, what they can do up against a team like Robin Hood, who will also be battling for a spot to get promoted this season.
Yeah, I said to you, with this guy coming back, the coach that was there, he went to England for a while. He's back. And look at the results. That's 16 goals in the last 2 weeks. So, again, having him back, it must be such a move, for them, having him back. What do the players like about him? Why, what does he do? What has he done? I haven't seen him play. I was going on a steal to look at their training session, but I'm very convinced that they will be a promotion team. You don't get those type of results like that just by accident.
Right.
So he's doing something really right there. He connects with the players. He connects with the community. So it's working. I do believe what's going to be interesting, let's say the FA Cup comes around and the Shield Cup, they're going to be in contention. If they get drawn against some team, and I'm only saying this, if they get drawn against a team like Social Club or Wolves, I think the Cape will beaten, or for anybody. I won't take them for granted. It's such a turnaround. What a turnaround. Yeah. And I'm happy for their community, because they've rebuilt the football program down there. Right. And so he's doing a wonderful job thus far. I do say, getting back to those games that they will have against Social Club, no, not against Social Club, against Somerset, and against, who else would it be? Robin Hood. Those are going to be the ones that they're going to be thinking about, okay, just how good are, that's where we get our standards, you know?
Yeah.
We look at just where we are.
To be able
And
to
I think
gauge
the coach I think the coach is capable of doing that. He's capable of realizing, well, you know, and it's just a complete turnaround. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, let's look at who we can pick for Player of the Week this week. We'll start off obviously with Player of the Week again, and then we'll go to our picks for next week. In the runnings for Player of the Week, obviously you have scored 2 goals for Devonshire Cougars. Oh gosh. Hold on one sec. I'll be able to tell you in a minute. I have my notes here. Just got to go through them real quick. Today's performances, you had the likes of what's his name? DeAndre Wainwright scoring for PHC. You had 1 goal for Dandytown. In the match on Friday night, you had the brothers Hartman scoring for Young Men's Social Club. Kamali Davis scoring 2 for Devonshire Cougars yesterday. He scored. He left Paget and went to Devonshire Cougars to begin the season and scored 2 goals against them. They also got a goal from Michael Battersby and as well as young boy Fox, Jeroy, and Nelson Carpenter scored for Paget. North Village got that goal, like you said, from Jai Bean and from Jonte Smith. It was also an own goal as well. The game between Vasco and Somerset Eagles, you had 2 goals from player coach for Vasco in Leo Burgess. Young Nathan Rigo scored a hat trick for Somerset Eagles to get them back into the game. He actually scored 3 goals to make it 3-3, and then they got a 4th goal. But like I said, Vasco were able to get that equalizer with 5 minutes to go. So, you know, when you look at it, who stands out for you?
Well, I saw the game. The Rigo, the up at Somerset Eagles, the Nathan Rigo. You know, he's always thought that seen him play, and I thought he would go on to play for another team. But you know, he's a very good goal scorer. But also, I watched the game in Norfolk. I think Jai Bean, because Jai Bean was also instrumental in creating the penalty for Jonte.
Yeah,
and it was a good goal. And his free kick was excellent, world class. So that's what I saw. I would pick him as maybe Player of the Week. He'll be one contender. But looking at the guys, like you said, the guys like in that division, in the first division, there's also. It'll be interesting to see who scored for Crossroads also. And
Paul Simon's got 2 goals.
Oh, okay.
The goal machine didn't score this week.
Oh, okay.
And
so we have
4 goals.
Oh, okay, right. Then it's the goal that was scored by Dannytown today. But for me, again, I'm not, with Village. I thought Jai Bean's goals were instrumental. Had a lot to do with North Village victory yesterday, and the chances that he created. I will go for him.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Jai Bean being the Player of the Week. So now let's look at our picks for next week's games. And we'll start off, if the schedule stays the same, on Saturday. It's going to be Hamilton Parish and North Village on Saturday, 3 p.m. at the Wellington Oval. I'll go first, and I'm going to take North Village.
I'm doing the same, Al. I'll take North Village to win that game. I still think that Parish is on a rebuilding, and they're still not at the full strength where they should be. So I'm gonna pick North Village, and North Village always perform well at that field.
Yes.
The space is conducive for the way they play. And like I said, they play with a lot more urgency now. They look a lot more urgency going forward. And then you got Dante and again the Jai Beans in a good form. So I think I'm going to pick North Village to win this.
Okay. And then we're going to go on Sunday at Bernard Park, if it's open, or probably at Police. Well, they'll have to switch it. But it's Devonshire Colts against Wolves. Either way, it's going to be Devonshire Colts against Wolves on the weekend. Who would you take?
I'm taking Colts to win that. I think Wolves are very wounded. You know, I saw, like I said, when I watched the game today, the Colts, they weren't far off from getting an equalizer. I didn't think they was going to win the game, but they weren't far from getting an equalizer. So, and with Wolves, I don't see them. I think Devonshire Colts is going to win this game. I would pick Colts to win.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to take Devonshire Colts as well. And then we go to the next match, and that is St. George's Colts versus Paget. That's a tricky one. But I take St. George's to bounce back from their defeat against North Village to edge Paget 2-1. So I'm going to take St. George's.
I'm gonna agree with you on that, Earl. I think Paget, like I said, St. George's is not a bad team at all. If they can be very much better at the back four.
Right.
They're gonna get a lot better. Yeah, they have the quality going forward. They definitely have the quality. I know Blaze was injured yesterday. Maybe that would be a big miss for them. But I think they still get the battle of Paget. And I St. George. I pick St. George to win that also, Earl.
Sure. And then the match, we'll see Young Man Social Club hosting the Dandy Town Hornets. Dandy Town make a second trip to Police Field in 2 weeks. I'm going to take Dandy Town to defeat Social Club. I just think Dandy Town have well structured under Kyle, and he'll be able to figure out how to shut down young Hartman and give Social Club something else to think about.
Earl, with that field, that conditions, Dandy Town struggled today. Like I said, I hate to keep harping on that the conditions up there, but it's difficult. And the type of, with the momentum that Social Club have, I think they're going to give Dandy Town a run for the money on this game. So, believe it or not, I'm going to go with Social Club.
Okay. All right. And then the final Premier Division match is the top of the table. Well, not a top of the table clash, but Devonshire Cougars will host PHC. It'll be an evening kickoff at Devonshire Recreation Club. Two teams coming off of victories. PHC undefeated. Devonshire Cougars be looking to pick up a third victory. PHC be looking for a fourth. I'm going to give PHC the edge here, probably 2-1 as well over Devonshire Cougars. So I'm going to take PHC.
I'll go with you too. I just think that PHC, and I've seen PHC, this 1-0 win today. It's consistency for me with PHC, and I think the forward power, the quickness. I think they got one up on Cougars. I'm gonna go with PHC to beat this game, even though Cougars are home.
Yes, yeah. And then in the first division, We have Robin Hood facing off against St. David's at BAA Field. I just think Robin Hood's going to be just a bit too much for St. David's. So I'm going to take Robin Hood on that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Earl. Again, in agreement with you. You know, yeah, Robin Hood just got, I think they got a better, more talent than what they had with Edson Davis. The better, with Sequoia over there, and he plays also, I heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's gonna be a real test for St. David's, to replicate maybe the shown against Somerset, and the 2-1. But I think Robin Hood is gonna beat this game. Yes, for sure. I think Robin Hood will win this.
Sure. Then there's a battle on the bottom of the table clash between Somerset Eagles and Southampton Rangers. That match is scheduled to be at White Hill Field. I looking at it, I'm not sure what Keith is getting as far as training numbers and so forth to turn this around. They've struggled at the start of the season here. Yes, Somerset Eagles will be disappointed with the draw today, having fought back from 3-0 down. But I just think they'll have enough, just enough to get by Southampton Rangers on Sunday. I'm going to go with Eagles. Yeah.
Again, in agreement with you, Earl. I think Rangers, I don't know what's going on up there. I don't think that they've, I still heard the rumblings that, there is satisfaction in that camp. And I just think that they're not, no, I'm going to go with Somerset Eagles, and this ain't going to be no draw. Somerset Eagles will win this game.
And the final first division match will be Crossroads versus Vasco. Crossroads, I think they will continue their goal feast against a team like Vasco who are giving up goals, leaking goals. They are scoring goals, but they're leaking a lot of goals as well. That's not what you want to be doing against a team that's scoring as freely as Crossroads. So I'm going to say Crossroads in this match.
Yeah, you're right, Earl. Yeah, that's too many. I don't see you stopping that freight train right now. Not the Crossroads.
Yeah.
Scoring at will, like I said, and so there's something really positive going on down there. And I don't see, and I think this game's going to be played at St. David's.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Crossroads to win comfortably on this game, on this game here.
Okay. All right. Well, Punchy, we've come to the end of this Island Stats Football Show. Thank you very much for joining. We do have semifinal action in Dudley, scheduled for this week, coming up midweek. And then we have a full league schedule for the weekend. We'll be back next Sunday with another edition of the Island Stats Football Show. Thanks a lot, Punchy. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, I have my camera fixed by then. Okay,
No
Earl.
problem, brother. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Good night.